a drug was developed that in conjunction with chemotherapy could potentially provide an additional 3 months of life. And for some of the fitter patients, that could even extend to an extra 5 months. Since last year, I finished my 4 doses on the re-challenge, and I got to the end of it and I had my scan and the tumours have shrunk and they've stabilised, and I decided not to go on with the maintenance dose of the treatment. So instead I've just been monitored and the tumours have stayed stable, and I've had almost a year without any treatment, and I feel very much better for it, energetic and just like myself again. Nervous for the next scan, but feeling very good and enjoying not being on treatment at the moment. So we, the audience, were asked whether we'd approve the drug. The treatment I've done is a re-challenge of the MPNE2017. So initially I did it as a blinded drug trial, and because it worked so well for so long, when I needed more treatment, because I have progressed, I opted to do it again. But it's not available. There's no data because the treatment's so new. There is no data as to how well it works. There's just a few patients, me and 2 others, who've opted to have the re-challenge. We've all had to do it privately. It's not available any other way, but it has worked for all 3 of us. So it's, I've been incredibly lucky, but there's lots of people who won't have that option. And it's very frustrating for a treatment when you know it works, but actually it's not readily available to people. Firstly, 3 months offers hope. And anyone with a terminal diagnosis knows how essential hope can be. Another aspect to the idea of just 3 months is that it gives you hope, because actually 3 months is enough time for things to change. It's enough time for there to be new treatments, new research, and your 3 months could potentially become 6 months or a year or 2 years, which is, what it was for me, is that months has turned into years. It's 3.5 years now, and that's really important. But I believe passionately that even if 3 months is just 3 months, that is not something that should easily be dismissed. That alone is phenomenally valuable, precious and important. Let's have a nice picture, because that made me laugh. Looking back at the pictures of that period, I can see lots of really precious and happy moments. I think quality of life for me is about having a life very similar to the one that I used to lead before melanoma. So it's still about being a mum, but it's also about working and running my business and doing things that just feel normal, and that feels kind of really important to me, and I'm glad that I'm feeling well enough that I can start sort of doing all of that again. I think the last few years I've been doing the kind of bare minimum. I've been looking after my boys and I've been managing my disease and I've been going to hospital appointments, but life has got quite small and it's nice to start expanding it again a little bit. What I believe to be the turning point when my treatment was beginning to work, that weekend was amazing. The next couple of days were really special. Is that the rules in England have changed and people don't potentially get access to my drugs if they've had different drugs first, and that's just changed recently, and I feel kind of devastated about that, because these drugs are really amazing and they've given me years and years, and they've given me back my quality of life, and they've given me, you know, just more time with my family and more time with my friends and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I guess that's the thing that's bugging me at the moment. It's always the same. It's access to drugs. I think everyone should be able to have access. In the end, the workshop left me feeling very frustrated that people who just don't understand make these decisions. And when you know that there are drugs out there that really genuinely work, you just assume that they can be applied to the people who need them. And that's the thing that time and time again I keep learning just isn't the case. And every time I hear it, I feel the same shock I felt the first time I realised that, because you just think, you know, when you're diagnosed with a sort of terminal disease, you just think the least that would happen is that you'd have access to the drugs that people know work, and actually that just doesn't happen. It still doesn't happen. I have obviously been extremely lucky, as my 3 months did turn into 6 months, a year, 2 years, and right now it's been 3.5 years. So back in 2013, when I was told that the disease had progressed and that I got months, not years, I emailed my friends, trying not to be dramatic, but explaining the situation and sort of saying, I've got months, not years. There are treatment options, but my 40th is out the window. It's not going to happen. And then last year, it suddenly did happen, and the impossible birthday was there, and it was amazing because everybody understood how just unlikely it was that it was going to happen, and the fact that it did meant that they were all there. Everyone invited turned up because it was as important to them, and they understood. They understood that it was the impossible birthday, but it was happening.